think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
I had a moment where my family looked at me like I was my own dad. The Chinese music was playing. And they were like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like you're touched. You've gone into the next realm here where we can't follow you."
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, but
That's
not a lot
okay
of people. Not a lot of people can follow us here to the Extinction Agenda with James.
James.
And Chris.
The man on the internet most likely to crank it up to 100%.
Well, I thought you were going to say most likely to have the iron robes.
Yes, to have the iron vest or whatever. No, Chris and I were Chris and I were talking earlier about cranking it up to 100%.
Wow.
So here on the Extinction Agenda, we're talking Once Upon a Time in China by Hark, directed by Hark, starring Jet Li. This came out in 1991. Now, the Chinese name for it is just the name of Wang Fei Hung, which is the main character of this story. So he's basically like a Robin Hood kind of character, I'm gathering, or a James Bond. There's like 100 movies about this guy, and they all have the same name, and like Wang Fei Hung saves the Golden Palace or something like that.
He's a legendary folk hero, and a doctor also. So he's like a medical doctor, from what I understand.
But like in reality, well, I mean, so far as I understand, it's really the story about a guy who just knew kung fu and like provided bodyguard service in a city.
Oh shit! He's a real he's a folk hero, like an actual folk hero.
Yeah, he's a real human, and then he turned into a folk hero. So he lived from 1847 to 1925, and he was like a master of Hung Ga kung fu, and he also knew acupuncture. And then when the Republic of China was established, he was celebrated through, this is all from Wikipedia, through the Qinwu Athletic Association. And so he represents like the martial arts tradition, right, that the Republic tried to retain after the fall of the end of the Qing dynasty, which I literally don't know how that happened or what exactly that is. But he is like some sort of like middle point like this. He was a real person who became like sort of a political symbol for a traditional art as the country itself was transitioning into modernity. And so, big surprise, this movie covers a lot of those themes, but displaces it to the late 19th century. And I'm thinking about like 1885 or some shit like that, give or take. Honestly, couldn't tell you. And the movie is no help.
This is a true story.
It is the truest of true stories. There's nothing made up about this. And since I'm talking so much, I'll just continue for just a couple seconds. I really didn't like this movie, and so I went through a couple stages, because as I was telling Chris, I kind of watched it a few times, like having it in the background. And the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, well, that kind of happened. Seems kind of dull. I'm really impressed with Jet Li, but I mean, it somehow still manages to be dull. And then the second viewing, I was like, fuck this movie. And then the third movie, it just got worse. Fuck. And then watching it a little bit before we started talking, I was like, hey, this movie is pretty fresh.
This is this sounds like the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what happened. Acceptance by the end.
Yeah, Jesus.
So maybe you guys didn't go on a similar roller coaster, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
No, it did suck though.
That's great. I felt like I didn't like half of this movie. Like I did find it somewhat tedious to begin with. About the time that Iron Vest Yin came along, I like that duel in the marketplace, and he just adds a kind of like sellout griminess to the story that that saw me through to the end. And there's some amazing martial arts in it, and that's enough. That's enough for me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's if I hope so, because that's what's on. That's one on. Those are the wares this thing's selling. James, well, you thought it sucked. What's a positive quality?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, like the positive quality is falling in love with your aunt.
13th aunt.
It does happen.
Yeah, that's no big deal. No,
so I tried to figure out what that was
lost
about.
in translation.
It is. Yeah.
But they had like a romantic social tension that was pretty good. I don't feel like quality martial arts started until the halfway point. So I feel what you're saying, Chris. If I'm gonna watch a kung fu movie, there was a lot of slapstick, a lot of Three Stooges. Kind of stuff, which is okay because like traditional kung fu movies have that.
Yeah.
To some degree. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like probably one of the people that broke a lot of that tradition was probably Bruce Lee, who added some like almost like a psychotic severity to the movie where like there wasn't any room for that.
Okay,
and
that's
interesting.
Probably
why he's a little more beloved. I don't know. I'm spitballing.
No, I'm not an expert. Actually, I've barely seen any fucking Bruce Lee movies. I couldn't say, but it seems true.
I consider myself to be a Bruce Lee expert.
Okay. If none of us know what you're talking about, you are the expert. So,
but anyway,
tell us anything.
There is but these movies tend to have that like sort of there's an oaf. There's a sort of like some bumbling guys and and I don't know why, but there's always this sort of comedy element like mixed in, or oftentimes there is in these movies, and I don't know why, but it adds some fun. But when there was like sort of a breakthrough of like talent where people were like, hold on, this one person, this lead actor in this is exceptional, and I don't want to see that other shit. I want to see him. I want to see what he's doing all the time. And then I feel like there was a little bit of a shift and it was a little bit after this.
There's the divergent path with Jackie Chan, which is like maximizes that and makes the clown the kind of center of the action. But it is true. And like the school of acrobatics, which is clearly on play here, like that sort of like there's like a whole like showman tradition in these movies. I feel what you're saying with that.
Yeah, there's like this one is one of the ones where and there's a lot of there's a generation of these two that have a lot of wire work, like more wire work. I prefer when it's dialed back a bit, which we'll see some in some of the other stuff we're going to do later in the month. But this one, like until he's grounded, you don't really get to see him move like and be wowed, and like you say, that's not till the end. Master Yim was awesome, but this had like I don't know, this had all the like the fun theme stuff, the human trafficking, the smuggling, the British and the Americans. This is American territory, American foreign soil or whatever. Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
You got a diplomatic immunity plot as well, like a little lethal weapon.
It's just been revoked. Okay, so I guess one of the things I'd say to that, like the slapstick elements, I'm like, why explain Rob Schneider to me then in Western things? Like that's a problem I have with so many action movies is why is there so much fucking buffoonery? There's like, I know there's the straight action, and like, well, like maybe the analogy is like that's the Bruce Lee stream where it's like played rough, kind of psychotic. But for the most part, like action movies are fucking dumb. and lean into the dumb, and audiences love that. So like I think
Not
it's
Rambo.
not Rambo. No, it's true. I was thinking of Predator as like one that, but even that has some jokes
Oh
or whatever.
well,
But
yeah, that's pretty minimal though. The severity
yeah,
increases fast.
yeah. So I guess I'm just trying to be fair to what we watched. Like audiences want their buffoonery with their action. It doesn't matter where on planet Earth you are. Like, and by this time, 1991, they're drawing a lot of influence, I would imagine, from Western movies. Yeah. Anyway, one of the things that I disliked about this movie, and speaking of like, I was like, okay, let's play this movie as like your Western American movie. And so what are we ultimately talking about? So we're talking about a traditional healer who's a martial arts master, who is an anti-imperialist, who runs a local militia, basically he just runs a local militia to run out the imperialists. And then at the end, it defeats the imperialists and maintains the tradition, and and then practices on the beach with all his dudes. Am I right? This is the movie that ends like that, right? I've watched a couple of these. And I was like, okay, so what would that look like if like fucking Vin Diesel did that?
Oh no.
What if, or just like, I don't know. I was trying to pick something like very American, but like
It'd be preppers.
It would be. And like this sort of ultra nationalism that's attached to them, and this like this overemphasis upon basically like how we're getting fucked through treaties. It sounds very racist grandpa and their ilk, like it's all about tariff sovereignty. Like that whole fan thing with the unequal treaties and stuff.
Yeah, it feels like a propaganda movie. But I mean, also like a lot of Western action movies also feel like propaganda movies, and like it's also not wrong. There are, the West was I'm sure a very I know it was a corrupt or corrosive presence, like capitalism coming in, like just like looting people, taking slaves over to work in gold mines, yeah, that's all fucked. And like the sentiment behind it, I'm sure is it's totally justified.
Yeah, so you sympathize with it, but on the other hand, you're like, would I want to see that story here? Like, you kind of root for them because you can separate yourself from them, right? But if someone was playing a movie like this down the street, I'd be like, oh fuck, things are really bad over here.
Yeah, the whole and then they had the whole kind of like gun versus kung fu. Which is just sort of I don't know. It's just like killing culture, killing traditionalism.
Yeah.
So it was that was like a lot. And then I think this too, I think Jet Li, do we think he had I think he has acting chops, which I think is one of those things where it's you can see that this person's an exceptional martial artist, but then you also he's able to deliver an impassioned scream performance, which is odd. I think that he's unique in that sense. I don't know. Maybe so. I'm crazy.
No, I think you're right. I never really appreciated it because I haven't seen a lot of Jet Li movies outside of whatever it is you might have shown me, and outside of Lethal Weapon 4. And by the time Jet Li becomes an American phenomenon, I don't know, 1995, 1996, thereabouts, he doesn't learn any English, so he just becomes I don't think he does. I don't recall, but he just becomes this body that does stuff. He's the silent Oriental, chopping things and making everybody's action look like shit. And you can't tell that he has any sort of acting chops, right? He's just not able to do that because he not to a Western audience anyway. But you definitely get a vibe on it here.
Yeah, because he has a swagger and sort of a moral gravity kind of that. I don't know. He does a good job with it, but like you say, unless you've watched I don't think anything that he was in American was very good. I actually read some things. This was about a different actor, but about Tony Jaa.
Okay.
That the movie studios that put together his films were almost like they're just like akin to like a mafia, and they're like you're not leaving the country to film movies other places, like not if you want your family to live and shit. So it was there was like different and like I'm not saying that's what happened with Jet Li, but I'm assuming that if you have a product that's making money and you have a regime the way that China does, that certain things are going to be acceptable, and borrowing actors are going to be okay, but certain things you're going to just sort of either play close to home. But I assume a lot of people like from there too are very traditional, maybe about staying there, and
Well, I
probably
think
his family there, and I don't know.
that's what I was thinking of the example of Jackie Chan from when we were dealing with that. Like he's got his own production company, like his livelihood, like 20, 30, 40 people are making money off of the fact that he's a star. And so, I don't know, maybe a similar thing's going on. Jet Li, like I think the Occam's razor on this one, like it doesn't have to be that he can't, it's that he doesn't learn English. He isn't able, like, and perhaps also he's just very comfortable in his space. Like this is really incredible.
Necessary.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know enough about the fella. There's probably a bunch of reasons. He is very incredible though. Even in this, in pretty much anything he does, his physicality is. The more I watch it, and they make a point of slowing it down sometimes, just so you can see what he did, which is always a nice move. Just a quick little slowdown.
There's an accuracy to his like striking.
Yeah,
and movement that's like when it's slowed down, you can really see that it's sort of horrifying.
Yeah, he's doing these precision kicks from behind his back, like kicking some guys at the back of some guy's head from behind, like, and you're like, wow, okay. And I think Tsui Hark, the I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not, because I'm so good at pronouncing things. I think the more I watch this, the more I'm impressed I am with some of the images, the angles, the quick cuts, the way everything's handled. Feels very cinematic. Feels like a lot of stuff is happening. He knows when to. Just a small thing. He zooms in on feet quite a bit. And just like while there's a piece of dialogue or something like that, you'll be just watching Jet Li walking and focusing on his feet, and then during a fight, that same sort of walking perspective will be brought back into the mix. Anyway, yeah, it's I can see why this guy was considered a big deal. Unfortunately, he would go on to make movies with Van Damme. He did Double Team, and what was the other one? He did 2 with Van Damme.
Who did?
The director of this movie. Double Team and Knockoff.
Oh,
those are. I mean, in a way, those are awesome.
Right. Well, there's Rob Schneider. There you go.
In a more acceptable. In another way, those are maybe the worst.
Yeah.
The West comes
the other
for
one
us
has
all.
the other one has Dennis Rodman in it.
Yeah. Okay. So this guy has a brand. Yeah.
Yeah. He probably likes cocaine. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
Those were probably Van Damme's 2 most coked out movies.
I see.
Yeah, they talked about Jet Li, and you were mentioning him in Lethal Weapon 4. He is one of those guys where, they used to talk shit about Bruce Lee, but he actually had to slow down movement for capturing things at 24 frames a second. They were not able to film him properly. And that was like a common thing for him.
I believe it. It just because I remember you know, like he's Mel Gibson and fucking Danny Glover are the villains in that. And you're just like, this isn't even in the same ballpark. It's not even the same sport. Yeah, it was so stupid. And yeah, anyway, that's what Jet Li will do, though. What do we think about? So, James, I know you had said you're not like a big wire fu sort of fella, but we get a lot of wire fu in this.
This was the top tier of wire fu, though. I think.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like how you guys felt about that, but like, I don't know. It was still gritty. It was still there was still smashing through sets, you know, kicking through walls. There's a lot of platform work. It was very like an acrobatic stage. It was like superpowered. It was two super powered villains.
Yeah.
Going against each other, or superheroes going against each other, right? Because they were like the two guys were exceptional. But they were like like juggling pillars around each other while fighting stuff. It was, I don't know, but yeah. I think that this the way this one was shot was still like earthy enough for me to not be totally like, it wasn't like a. I'm gonna hate on Flying Dragon, even though I think we canceled it.
Crouching Tiger.
Yeah, because it's just all floating.
It is, yeah, running a blind. Yeah, it aims towards like the
realism almost.
Oh, this movie does. Yeah,
it's supposed to be like dreamlike, I guess. Crouching Tiger.
What did you say, Chris? Did you say realism or
surrealism? Dreamlike is better.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I misheard you, and then I got confused. So I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. There's even when they're fucking around on those ladders, going back and forth, in the rafters, and then they're gonna have that, you know, the ladder battle. No, it's pretty all right. I was just trying to. You're right, James. I'd always thought of these movies as this type of battling as super heroics. You kind of wish that you'd see more stuff like this in like a Marvel movie. I never saw Shang-Chi, so maybe this shit showed up. Probably not in any entertaining way. I like the practicality of it. That really pleases me, because like they're on wires, sure, but like that's really hard. These are like circus performances, and they're falling through actual floors, and the floors are actually breaking.
Yeah, and they seem to get like. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you can see some of the actors get like frustrated too, like not or the performers, like when they're fighting, like if they're annoyed with the person up on the ladder, and it's funny because as the audience member, you're starting to feel annoyed with it, and then one of them will smash the ladder and make the other guy drop or something.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Chris?
I was going to say I like that. Like there are times when it's a subtle effect, like when the first duel happens between Wong and Yim, he shows up at the dojo, or at the school, I should say, and Wong is almost in a defensive mode, and there's just a part where he like does this like jump kick between pillars, and like he does the splits, and he just rolls into this defensive kind of crouch, but it's all very graceful and fluid. Very cool.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a very particular thing. And I found myself with these movies, I do find myself thinking about WWE or something like that. Like the way in which this movie dramatizes through human ballerinas some sort of like nationalist motif, or some sort of like criticism of modernity, or in both in the way that it's base, but and also in the way that it's sometimes subtle, sometimes obvious, sometimes a little subversive.
Iron Vest is actually, that's a great way to put it, because like Iron Vest has that heel turn, and like Foon, who like abandons Wong's teachings in order to study with this guy. he has this real like sort of like WWE like moral dilemma of like like oh like this is all going wrong, and like he's aligning himself with these gangsters, but like maybe we can still save it, but at the critical time he turns back to the side of good.
There we go. That all sound right to you, James?
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, well, Yim too. He's like the Iron Robe is like he's like he's corrupted, right? He uses firearms. He's like his honor is like stripped back because of his corruptibility, right? So he's
Yeah.
like sort of he's the worst example of they're trying to retain this like honor and tradition, and he's this like just really shitty segue.
Yeah. It's hard though, right? Because like I was struck by how shitty it is to like be a martial artist in this world where like he's traveling basically like a circus performer from town to town, challenging people, and he can't even get like that's when Foon throws himself at his feet and being like, teach me. He's like, what's the good of being a martial artist when you can't even like get a meal? And they have that scene where like Foon is like stealing soup from like this restaurant, like just pouring the bowls together, the scraps, and then that courtesan like spits on them. She's like, two men sharing soup. It's pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're motivated by something. Like in like the first appearance of him, you're right, it's like a circus act. He's got these spears against his neck, and he like drives into it in the rain and breaks the spears. And then they throw a bunch of coins on the ground, and that's basically our introduction to this dude, if I remember correctly. Anyway,
That's right.
Yeah. And I remember I read bits from a book about Tsui Hark's filmography, but it wasn't a very helpful book. But the one thing that was helpful, it pointed out that there's a yellow flower down on the ground when he's down there, and he disregards it completely, like the beautiful natural flower. He goes for the money. And watching some of these scenes later on, like he's got a cut later on, and he's going to be dripping blood all over the ground, but it's going to land on the money. It's a very obvious shot where he picks up the blood money. So yeah, he is corrupted,
nice.
but it's corrupted through a, I don't know, I don't know. It's reasonable, right? Like he's poor, and he has an opportunity to better himself, and so he's fucking taking it. And if he just has to beat up Master Wong to do that, so be it.
Well, and there's that conflict of like when they go to those like thugs who are like throughout the whole movie, they're like shaking people down for protection money. Like a big thing in this movie is that idea that like they're all competing gangs of thugs. Like it's like the British are shaking people down and the Americans are shaking people down. And everything's just become this like money grab, and Wong's there to just say like, if we don't protect our traditions and our martial arts, then it's going to be gone. And like that would be a tragedy. But like they prostrate themselves, like the don't take the money, it's blood money. But they have the thugs are just like they're chanting like, we eat well, and they have like the roast chicken and stuff like that. So like he's like, we got to get money first, and then we'll worry about justice. And that's your message right there. Like Wong's never going to do that. He's going to stand, even like when he's on the outs, even when the authorities are against him, he's going to stand up for what's right.
Yeah, and so there was that scene. Who's the gang leader's name? Does he have a name, or is he just? Oh, he's just the gang leader. Okay, good enough. So he goes and he fights him in the tea shop or whatever, and like arrests him. And he's like, "Will anybody witness things?" And nobody will. But then the priest comes around, or priest comes around later and witnesses, and it's a response to Wong getting pissed off when he they're trying to sell him Jesus, and he's like, "Well, Jesus, I arrested a criminal today. Will Jesus be my witness?" Yeah, I'm sorry. The priest shows up later when they burn down his apothecary shop, his little medical shop, and he says he'll be a witness because he saw them in the alley. I don't know, stuff like that adds a little bit of complexity to this. Similarly, Bucktooth So, the way that he is presented as fucking retarded, but then is revealed to not be at all. And kind of instrumental to, I don't know if he's instrumental, but he's important. He plays a role later on, and it's an important, and he shows up Porky, who can't even read, like he's everybody, like even individuals like Aunt, the 13th aunt or whatever, she is presented as very Western. Probably the most Western of all. But
for
she's,
sure.
Yeah. So maybe I'll put her aside for a moment, but the corrupting influence of the West is not absolute, I guess is the point. You can maintain it through discipline and honor and whatnot, and find your way through it. Yeah. 13th Aunt was pretty hot. I don't know if you guys felt that way.
She was coming on. She was coming on strong too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not actually related. We just call each other that.
He's like, whoa, get back off the measuring tape.
Yeah.
I like that shadow scene a lot, actually, when she's caressing his shadow, and they're having that really tense moment. I thought that was very nice. As far as like a romantic scene in a movie goes, it was very artsy.
Yeah,
oh man, so I'm watching Yim get shot down by the fucking Americans as he's rampaging around.
Yeah. We can't stand against guns.
Oh no! Yeah, he gets done platoon style.
Yeah, oh my goodness, it's so bad.
And they even have the like burlesque, the two guys, Porky. They're dressed like
well, because they're going to be in that play or whatever, right? That's just before the audience gets all shot up.
Well, I think they had two guys that were supposed to be in the play, and the bouncer ran them out or whatever, so they had to fill in.
Ticket. Yeah. Yeah, that's like the turning point, I think, for the aunt too, where she warns the British soldiers in English, like, don't shoot these people, and then they do it anyway, and that's sort of like because Wong has that scene where he's like, what's so great about the West, and she's like, well, they have all this technology, like they have steam trains, their technology is very advanced. We're going to be left behind if we don't learn how to do it. And so he's like, well, maybe if everybody in China has a suit, I'll get one too.
Yeah, and then he puts on his glasses and little hat, Matrix
That's
style.
right. He goes to the theater. Yeah.
Yeah. I think her turning point is a little, or maybe this is just one of those situations where it's more complex than it at first appears. When the doctor's office, the apothecary medicine shop or whatever, their little school is burning, and she's like, if I don't take a picture of this, it will all be gone. Like, so on the one hand, it's it feels very misogynistic. It's just like, oh, of course she's going to take a fucking picture. Typical woman, that kind of thing. But her motivation in that moment is for the tradition, and she's going to maintain the tradition through through modernity, through archiving and that kind of thing. And there was some kind of truth to it. Like, it's going to burn down and it's going to be gone, and now's your chance to capture some of it. But maybe while it's burning isn't the best way to do it.
Yeah. then you get called a foreign hag by your
that's
13th
right,
cousin.
Oh my goodness, you're just a foreign hag. Oh shit, you guys so they're gonna blow up the British. Oh no, they're not. What did they end up blowing up? Say again, so much of this movie just ends up murky to me. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that moment when Yim's introduced and he has that like showdown with that other swordsman. Like really like adds a severity to him, kind of going into the end of the movie.
It's kind of like Frieza beating up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he pulls the guy's throat out or whatever.
Oh yeah, yikes! Yeah,
You get 3 moves since you're a guest here. And he's like, "You're drawing your sword before the second." That's what doomed him. He like attacked him from behind. It's third thing, and he's like, yeah.
And he ended up with like a little bit of honor in that moment. I didn't think he was so evil early. Like his
not
sort
a
of
start.
Yeah, his slide is just sort of sudden. He just slipped.
Well,
slipped on a
I
banana
don't know
peel.
that I ever really picked up that he was like super evil. I think he was just like super desperate. He was like, it's like I have to go from A to B no matter what, and then I can, like we can deliver justice after the fact, like Chris was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it's like he was just like not like he was kind of possessed. Like he had no choice. He didn't care what it took. It was just like, I'm not eating. I have no money. Like this is what I have to do to get from here to here. But yeah, no, it's not really true, because once he gets in there into like the shitty place, he like starts like condoning casual rapes and like beating the shit out of his assistant, and like you're right, he does kind of slide a little too far, like
it's a Breaking Bad situation.
acceptability. Yeah.
Yeah, he really just kind of like goes all the way into, and I think the biggest shame is like when he has that blade hidden in his hair, which prompts Wong to like then he gets like the braid cut. Like that's what, you're not going to humiliate someone like that unless they've really sunk low. Then you're not worthy of having that hairstyle.
And he cuts it with the blade, that the secret blade, like he does this, wraps it around his hand and slice.
Yeah, that's a castration.
It is. Yeah.
Damn.
That's why the bullets are able to kill him afterwards. He's already penetrated.
Oh, that's true. No. Because the Iron Vest style shouldn't have, like, he gets stabbed and it like doesn't even affect him. Like when he's full on Iron Vest.
Yeah.
I think you might actually be right about that.
Well, if I'm wrong, I don't want to be wrong. Is there, okay, so last time because we're looking at these, I guess this falls under wuxia tradition, like these ballet martial arts movies. Most of them are all going to have, okay, so the fight choreographer, Yen Pu Wing, he's not the fight choreographer in this, but like that name is going to be front and center to everything else that we cover for the rest of the month. And this style, this wire style or whatever, I know it's like superheroes and supervillains, but what is it? I'm trying to think of it like ninja, right? With the ninja, we were able to come to some sort of like qualities to them. I think that this version of the martial artist is much like the Chuck Norris version of the martial artist. They're a pacifist. They have extreme powers and everybody knows it, and they're afraid of them. And, like you're just looking for a fridging to motivate you. Or in this case, like a threat to the national homeland and the 13th Ant.
Oh, yeah. Or like, just like sexual violence is always on the table here too. Like that really motivates everybody.
Oh my goodness. When they're taking the 13th Ant and he just like he's grabbed her by the fucking hair, like the bad guy. And he's holding her by the hair and pulling it, and he's like spits some shit in her face, like throws her to the ground. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's like,
I want to taste your flesh.
Gnarly. Yeah. Even the rape scene when he finally like knocks her unconscious and he's just like bleeding out of that fucking gnarly eye, like and just like rubbing the blood already all over her like sweaty body, and I was like, oh fuck, this is getting out of control.
Yeah.
It is. And his end is well justified.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was sick. All the women, because they've been running women to America. That's one thing this movie takes very seriously is the slavery plot of the like they have these like hawkers in the market. They're like, yeah, like when you get to America, you wash your face and there'll be gold, and like they're just like constantly piping up like how rich everyone's gonna be. But they're taking the slave, Chinese to work in the gold mine. It's in horrible jobs, but they're also sending courtesans because they won't allow them to have wives, or just like women to comfort women. They're just rounding up women to send along. So this guy's at the heart of that, and then with like all the women gang up to just kind of push him into this like oven, the furnace, basically, and then they like just close the door on him, and you hear him banging at the other side. It's like, wow, that was hard.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a nice way to go.
No.
Especially if you experienced enough strength to try to bang on the door. You're cooking slowly.
Oh, yeah.
Did either of you see One Battle After Another?
Not yet.
Okay,
No.
so I don't want to. There's not really much of a spoiler, but I mean, like, there's the Leonardo DiCaprio character. He doesn't want to use cell phones. That's not really a spoiler. That's fine. And at the end, though, he embraces the cell phone. And it is if you watch the movie, maybe it'll irk you like it irked me. But I kind of a similar thing happens at the end of this, where like Wong dresses up in his suit at the end for the photo, and it's it's appropriate given like the photo is representative of modernity and whatnot. He's finding some sort of balance with it. But it always sort of troubles me when a movie that is about sort of nationalism and national integrity ends with an embrace of the surveillance apparatus. It's I know that's like going too far, but I think that to be willing to mediate oneself in a way that you weren't willing to do so earlier is not, I don't know, doesn't strike me as a virtue, doesn't seem to me a happy ending. But like a lot of movies will go that way in one way or another, and this one definitely does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he even uses a firearm at the end, which I didn't care for.
Oh, I think he flicks the bullet because he does that.
Oh yeah, he flicks it,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think he has the firearm in his hand. Like
Yeah.
they're both ready to use them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got the British guys. Or was it British or American? I forget. But they're like, he's screaming like, "Oh, you can't touch me. I have diplomatic immunity." And he's in charge of the whole organization of kidnapping these women and stuff.
The Porky in this one, the character that he represents, I wrote this down somewhere. I'm not going to find it, but like he is also a real life character. Obviously, not the way he's depicted here, but he's one of the students of Master Wong, and he would go on, according to Wikipedia, to become important in the development of the kung fu movie generally. And I don't know. I just kind of wanted to say that there is not only within this story like a folk hero and an emphasis like a sort of a resistance to mediation and then acceptance of mediation, but it also has a character that is important to the development of the very movie that we are watching.
So by accepting photography, eventually they become accepting of film in a way, like these sort of technologies that capture things and like preserve the culture in a way, or even
like the 13th
carry the culture forward in like ways that could be propaganda, I guess. That's really interesting.
Yeah. I don't think for a moment that Tsui Hark is maybe like going down that route, but that's just a thought that I had, just a little high guy thought. I was like, putting some pieces together on that one. Okay. Do we got anything else on this? We got like 45 minutes of chat about this. I think we're
no, I that's about it.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned that the next movie's not going to be any better. Tai
I've
Chi
heard
Master.
good things about that one. I'm actually
Well,
kind of excited to see that.
Okay, well, because I pulled all these movies from a list of like the best 90s kung fu movies, and Once Upon a Time in China like always ranks number one in these lists, or very high. Yeah, right. And so I'm
God
like,
damn it.
oh yeah, just I don't know, buckle up for some like a lot of nationalism on these fucking things, and a lot of it's the same thing with those Ip Man movies. Like there's a ton of them, and Ip Man is supposedly Bruce Lee's teacher, but like they got him doing wire fu and shit like that, like these crazy things that we know for a fact that Bruce Lee can't do. So like they're really willing to like immediately and without question create a mythology around some sort of martial artist, and everybody understands the mechanics that surround that mythologizing. I don't know, it is interesting, but like we don't have anything comparable, I don't think. Like what do we have, like American Sniper?
Oh yeah, we don't have anything like that. No, you're right. I guess John Rambo.
It's not a real person though. Well, I'm talking about maybe movies about W.
You mean a real folk hero?
No, a real human that they immediately turn into a folk hero, like Ip Man.
I can't.
No, man. We only have hockey ones, man.
Sully?
Wayne Gretzky.
But they don't have a movie about him where he's like fighting Americans off. If anything, he's turned traitor on us. Goddamn bastard.
Yeah,
what was that? What was that? American Sniper, maybe. That was like that's like a guy who wrote it. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Sniper, like the franchise, yeah.
Snipers.
But particularly the American Sniper guy. Like
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that could be it.
That's sad.
Yeah,
well,
it is kind of sad.
I don't know. Yeah, but actually, audience, we're calling upon your knowledge of culture and wisdom. Tell us truly, if it be, are there heroes among us now? Let us know. No.
When I take up a person, Mr. Linton, he or she is safe. There is no question about them anymore. My friends are the best people. Oh, I don't mean that they're the most virtuous, or indeed the least virtuous, or the cleverest, or the stupidest, or the richest, or the best born, but the best. In a word, people about whom there is no question. I cannot promise you how long it will take. You can appreciate it is not an easy matter. But any gentleman with an estate and 30,000 a year should have a peerage.
I don't think I'm being immodest when I say that joining the Christmas Adventurers Club means that you are a superior man. No, not the best man, not the most intelligent, the most sophisticated, or the wisest. It just means that you are superior to other human beings, and you shall never want for riches or the greatest of friends.